Hi everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Give me some thumbs up in the chats if you can hear me. All right, I'm going to get started with the community read. Yay. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to be doing the community read using the Signs of Our Times Tarot and then our regular personal readings with the This Might Hurt Tarot. Happy to pull this guy out. It's been a hot minute, I feel like. I debated between this and the Ethereal Visions Tarot, both of which I haven't used in a while. But let's do our community read first, see what kind of energy we hear. I also love this combo. This is like the old faithful, tried and true, can't really let you down combo of Oracle and Tarot. Welcome to the queue, guys. Welcome to the live. If you guys do Easter stuff, let me know what you're doing. I'm having a chill weekend because next weekend I'm going to be peopled out. So keeping it low key. All right, let's get our community read going. See what energy we have around us on this Good Friday. Infinity. Ooh, unlimited potential. Eating chocolate is going to be a part of your unlimited potential midnight. Okay, we have the butterfly, which is metamorphosis. Last card. Here we go. And bees, community. Oh, we have a lot of bug themed things here. And then we have infinity. I love that. So it seems like we have it feels very much like the world is our oyster as a community. We have a lot of just unlimited options ahead of us and unlimited paths that we can take and unlimited opportunities that will maybe eventually become available to us. And a lot of that probably has to do with just being part of these changes. You know, springtime often gives me that whole, change and metamorphosis kind of energy. And I think it's a natural time of year that we participate in the sorry, I got distracted. But this is the time of year that we join in with all of that change that we see around us. And I really love the idea of the bees. We're doing this community read, so I feel like it's just reinforcing how much the community affects us, how much we are part of that community. And in being part of that community, how are we changing? How does it change us? How do we change it? All of that. So it's like one giant cycle and one giant, machine that we are a cog in a good way. And just the unlimited options that we have as being part of our community. But I love these cards. They make me so happy. Really need to use them more often, but I actually have the problem where I can't stop using them. So, Libra, you are up first. Go ahead, put your question in the chat. I'm going to get this deck all shuffled. This deck makes me happy too. Hey, Luke, welcome. Yes, guys, if you are free on the 27th, Syl and I are going to be doing our Tarot Time podcast, our fun, reoccurring monthly collaboration where we talk tarot, divination, witchcraft. We do fun tarot tags. We sometimes have guests on. It's a fun time, and it's just a really fun space where you can share You can talk tarot deck and all the above, really. Hey, Robin, welcome. This deck smells so good. Just in the future, Libra, please don't all caps me. I high-key hate it. Just so you know. I understand, like, other channels, it's like how people try to get noticed, but notice my channel's pretty chill, so please don't do that in the future. Let's see what Spirit wants you to know, Libra. First card here. Make sure it's not in the light. They are super glossy. Let's see what your next card is. Oh, we had a reversal snuck in there. Okay. Last card. Here we go. So we have Justice, Page of Swords in reverse, and the Two of Wands. So I feel like, just kind of, I'm going to go in order here. Whenever I see the Justice card pop up, especially in like a general reading, I feel like that's a sign like maybe you need to, it's one of two things. And I'll explain which case I think yours is. Sometimes it's saying like the energy you're putting in is overall, the energy you put in is going to be the energy you get out, right? So if you're doing good things, hoping for good things, then keep that up. But if you're really kind of been in a rut and you're hoping for things to change, this is usually the sign like, hey, you're not putting in the right energy to get out what it is that you're hoping for, and you need to make some changes. Justice really asks you to look at the things that you're doing and analyze like what effects do they have. So it's literally the cause and effect kind of card when you think about it. And yeah, I think that this card really just makes you, as a message from Spirit, I think this card just asks for you to find clarity in how you are maneuvering right now. So paired with the Page of Swords, so it's interesting. So pages in general are really, are students of the tarot, and the Page of Swords is the really curious page, really just mentally stimulated by a lot and really wants to learn. But in reverse, kind of uses that knowledge, not in his own or her own best interest. So this is where I think is maybe where some of the disconnect, where Spirit is saying, hey, you might want to readjust how you're moving right now. So the Page of Swords in reverse can sometimes be a little bit manipulative. The courts, when they come out reversed, are manipulative at different levels. And this one is more so like overall just putting a lot of mental energy into things for all the wrong reasons and not being very thoughtful about the things that he's doing, or she's doing, sorry. But then we have the Two of Wands. So I feel like Spirit's saying like you have room to plan and reassess the decisions you're making. And I like that these are like reverse or opposites of each other. So it's saying like you have the ability to write that energy around, up, move forward with like better decision making. Maybe this means you need to step outside of your box a little bit, just to mirror this whole like finding a little bit of clarity and understanding about yourself. And overall, really look at how you want things to be, and are you doing the right things right now in order to do that? Because especially if you've been doing the same things and hoping for something to be different, or if you've been making small changes but not enough, then I think this is a sign from Spirit that you need to really reassess that. You think it's too dark for this summer? I could kind of see that. It does have like a slightly darker filtered vibe. Yeah, I haven't used it in ages either, Midnight. Midnight, go ahead, put your question in the chat. I feel like it's Easter weekend, so it's going to be like a quiet night tonight. Sure, energy for the week. Let's pull an oracle card. All right, energy for the week from Midnight. Ooh, mirror reflection. I like that it's a disco ball. Because the whole concept of like reflection and like you're welcome, Libra. The whole idea of reflection seems so like still, but the idea of a disco ball seems like high energy. So it's interesting. Interesting pairing. All right, let's see what the tarot has for you for your energy next week. All right, last one. Here we go. Ooh, all over the place. I like how the end mirrors a lot of the colors that we see over here. So you got the reflection card. This card is, asking you to really sit and maybe reflect on the week behind, maybe do some reflection over the weekend and almost like set the tone for the week, because I think there's going to be some stressors for you throughout the week. You have the Nine of Swords, the Magician, and the Ace of Cups. Realized I forgot to say what cards you got. But yeah, let me see. This feels a little bit more like this, right? So I feel like you have some stressors happening next week. And, the reflection card, I think, is really mirroring a lot of what I see in the Magician, in that the Magician is like the card of willpower. I always struggle with that word, and being able to manifest the realities that you are envisioning for yourself. It's really the card is saying like you have the ability to create the world around you that you see fit, that best fits yourself. And so I think that's really going to be the energy that you're going to have to tap into. And I think that over the weekend, kind of reflect on how you can best do that, because you have the Nine of Swords here. It's a really high anxiety card. Generally, this is more like the mental side of things, where it's just like overly anxious, overly stressed. It can lead to feeling other things and affect things externally, but it feels very much like this week is going to start off being more of an internalized thing that you have going on. And on the flip side, I think that the external part that it manifests into is this Ace of Cups in reverse. And just overall, it's like, I would see this like literally where your emotional cup is just drained out. You don't have the energy to put into yourself perhaps as much as you would like to. And I think what I would recommend based off of seeing these cards is in those periods where you're starting to feel like that is happening, maybe kind of sit with yourself and reflect on how you can better embody the Magician in those moments. because the Ace of Cups also is kind of like feeling like you're blocked emotionally. Just your overall emotional energy around all this is feeling like it's being blocked off. So I think next week is going to be a little bit trying in that regard, but you do have a little bit of control showing here in the reflection card here and the magician card here. It looked like it was all over the place when I first pulled the cards, but it actually has a pretty like good line of connection there. Hi, Corey. Welcome to the queue. So, Robin, what decks did you pull out for the summer? If you're still hanging around, because I'm nosy. Alrighty, 4, you are up next. You're welcome, Midnight. Hi, Virgo. How are you doing? Hope you guys are ready for the weekend. All right, for a message from Spirit. Whoop! Dropped a card. I forgot you do swap out your entire collection. Do you have anything you're looking forward to using? All right, next card for 4. Here we go. And last card. So we have the 5 of Swords, Page of Cups, and Page of Swords. We have 2 pages here. So I mentioned that the pages in a previous reading, I mentioned that the pages are kind of the students, but they can also reflect like just that youthful side of oneself. So can lean into like the inner child exploration, learning about that, and just overall that youthful energy. So I feel like that this reading is all about tapping into that more youthful side of yourself, that more high energy and eager side and adventurous side even. So the 5 of Swords is, if you look at it, right, this person here, you know, surrounded by swords, holding the, well, daggers really, but looks like they're kind of in like a wasteland and looks really guarded. So the 5 of Swords is it kind of gives me like warning vibes, right? Where if you're wanting to tap into this more like jovial, youthful side of things, be careful about leaning into this 5 of Swords energy, which really is like being, it's like the win at all costs card, where you're willing to like scrounge and fight, and you know, you're in that kind of mental state where you're willing to fight it out for whatever it is you want. It's like feeling like unlimitless, unbridled ambition almost, where ambition is good, but it has to be controlled and focused and kind of directed in what I'll say, I guess, directed in a way that benefits you. So over here with these 2 pages, I think that's where this is, you're starting to find more benefit. And so the Page of Cups, this is our like our dreamer. And then I mentioned previously that our Page of Swords is more of our this is our dreamer. This is more of our like fully curious page. And like, so Spirit's asking you, hey, how can you find that side of yourself? How can you embrace those two different sides of your curiosity where you feel like you can start to feel like you can dream about things that are emotionally fulfilling to you, that just connect with you emotionally? Things that overall just have a good impact on your emotional well-being. And then on the other side, how can you start to tap into things that make you feel like you are being challenged thoughtfully or intellectually? And um, what are some things that you have wanted to try that were challenging for you in the past that you might not have had the time or resources to do? Um, and in doing that, be be careful about making it like a um, we have like grind culture nowadays. So like be careful about making it feel like another job. This is supposed to be a fun journey where you are growing and learning, and it's something that should be bringing you joy. And be careful about leaning into this 5 of Swords where it becomes more of a like, I'm going to learn and win and be the best at this no matter what kind of thing. So yeah, I think ultimately you have a really cool message here. This seems like your page era, and only a soft warning from Spirit about being a little too ruthlessly ambitious. Alrighty, Corey, you are up next. You're welcome, for. You know what they should do? I would definitely do Easter egg hunts if they had like adult Easter egg hunts where you find like little bottles of like liquor or like gift cards to local bars or something in them. That would be really fun. I feel like someone needs to invent um adult Easter egg hunts. I'd be more willing to participate in Easter that way. So, for those of you who weren't here when I kicked off the live, um, on the 27th, Still and I are going to be doing our Tarot Time live stream. That is our monthly podcast where we talk about tarot, witchcraft. We do really fun YouTube tags and talk about other things within the same schema. So, yeah, join us if you are available. Right? Like, yeah, money's cool, but I'm cool with like gift cards to like local restaurants and breweries and bars and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. Like you show up and you get a free drink with dinner or um all right, Virgo, you are up next. Oh, sorry. I guess so Corey, I don't do third party readings. So if you'd like to change your question, you can. Sorry, Virgo, I saw their question pop up late. Alrighty, just let me know what you would like your question to be. Alrighty, let's see what kind of energy is coming towards you right now. There we go. Next card. Last card. Come on. All right, we have the Six of Wands, Two of Wands, and Three of Cups. Oh, you have a lot of energy moving around you. So we have these Two Wands cards, fire energy, and then it's sort of balanced off a little bit with this Cups card, which is more water energy. So a lot of things are moving around you, but I think the Cups card really keeps it from being too chaotic. And so I'll just start in the beginning. So the Six of Wands really indicates to me that you're going to get a lot of public recognition for something. Just overall standing out in a good way to your peers, maybe. And just feeling kind of like you have really succeeded in maybe succeeded in looking at this whole thing, succeeded in perhaps your relationships, your friendships, and the community that you have integrated yourself into. And overall, the Six of the Six of Wands really makes it seem like, hey, this is like your era. This is where you're starting to shine and starting to just, things are starting to feel right. The Two of Wands is interesting to follow this up because it's like, okay, things are starting to feel right. And I guess it puts you in a really good place to feel like you can start to make plans for the future. So if you look at her, she is on top of her car over by like this really scenic view, looking at a map and planning out her next destination. And I think that when things are going really well and you can start to envision what things could really, really look like, you start to get a taste of it, and then you can start to really, really see how things could manifest down the line. And I think for you, what it looks like is just really strong friendships that are really building. So we have that Three of Cups. This is your community card. This is really the emotionally connected with the people that are around you, that are important to you. And oh my gosh, hi Ruby. Hey, half hour late is half an hour early for the end. So, so I think that you have some really cool things, and there's a lot of like control over how this is moving too. So yeah, this is just in general that you feel like you have start to build some success with your friend groups. But then this is the part where you can really take control over Corey, where you can start to feel like, yeah, I got this. I'm going to make plans to build even stronger friendships, or maybe this could be a sign that you start to travel with your friends more. Who knows? But ultimately, I think this really paints like a really fun progress towards building some important relationships around you. Alrighty. Sorry, Virgo, go ahead, send your question. I got a little ahead of myself. Sometimes I feel like the chat and I like lag so far apart. Okay, let's see about your reconnection with the Taurus. So you have the Page of Wands, King of, I'm in Wands mode, sorry. Page of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, and the Chariot. A lot of Pentacles this evening, guys. I feel like we're in a Pentacles community this weekend, which is honestly really cool. Maybe you guys have some fun adventures planned. Excuse me. So I think that there's a few things. So overall, transitioning from the Page to the King, I think that this does show some forward progress overall, just transitioning through the courts. And the pages are generally more of the like baby step kind of fawn taking the first steps kind of thing, where things might be a little awkward at first, but then the King, it really ends the courts and is very sure of himself and his domain and all of the things that he built. The other good thing here is that you have Pentacles, which is earth energy that we have from the Taurus. So having that really shows that, thank you for subscribing, Noku. Having that earth energy shows like obviously the connection with being a Taurus, but then there's also the sign of there being a little bit of groundedness and stability that will be growing throughout this. So the Page of Pentacles, there is like that goal of being ambitious and having a desire to grow and build. And the Page here, looking forward to the future. Everything seems to be really like looking forward into how things are going to be moving. And then our King is really saying like, hey, all of that stuff that you were being ambitious about, all of the growth that you were looking for, you really see that in the King, where you see that in his comfortability, which shows up eventually. Hopefully, if you guys are putting in the work, it could very much lead to a really long-term reconnection. Now, the downside to the Pentacles is that things can move very slowly. If you know Tauruses, they can be a little stubborn, speaking from experience. But if you are willing to put in the work and be patient, the King of Pentacles provides a lot of stability and not protection, security. So on the other side here, we have the Chariot. So the Chariot has a lot of movement around them. This is the card that really makes me feel like things could really be very successful. This is more of the water energy, supports and grows a lot of that earth energy. And the Chariot really shows like, hey, if you guys plan a direction together, you have the control to do that. So this, so I kind of talked about the different aspects of getting from like point A to point B, and that can happen, but the Chariot really kind of is like solidifying that you have the control to make it happen. Oh, you're a Taurus man. Welcome, Taurus. But I will say, talking about that stubbornness, there is a little bit of willpower that I see in the Chariot that might be necessary. Hi, Steph. Welcome. So just be patient in that regard and understand that Pentacles are very, very slow moving. This isn't going to be something that happens overnight. So just because you're seeing your Taurus next month doesn't mean that you're going to see signs or see that full reconnection happening within that month. Pentacles are very slow moving. So you just gotta have to give it time. Think of it as like moving a boulder almost, where it's going to take a lot of energy to get it going, but once you get it going, it's going. What a lovely day. Go ahead, put your question in the chat. So nice to see all my like old heads in the chat tonight. Hi, Andrea. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great day, guys. I'm glad, Virgo. I'm glad that makes sense. Good luck with all of that. So what a lovely day. What would you like to know specifically about your past life? I don't generally do past life readings, but I'd love to give this one a try. Just give me something to like hone in on what I'm looking for. Welcome to the queue, Andrea. Oh, wait, someone said today's your birthday? Happy birthday. Everybody say happy birthday. I need to do like, let's see. Hopefully. Happy birthday. That's so fun. Hopefully you're doing something fun. Hopefully you're doing something fun for your birthday. If you are, let us know so we can live vicariously through you. Yeah, what a lovely day. I saw, okay. Okay, just like how, like the overall, how your life went. Okay, let's see. Let's see how your past life in China went for you. Last card. Ooh, okay, that one really wanted to fly out. Okay. Ooh, interesting. So you have the Knight of Pentacles. Hi, Roa. You have the Knight of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and then the Hierophant. So, you know, I feel like your life went really well for the most part. So the Knight of Pentacles, a little biased because he's my favorite knight, but this is generally like a good sign that you had a good head on your shoulders and really focused and ambitious, but you didn't rush through life. You didn't rush from one thing to another. You were a very patient person, and always kind of had your eye on the ball, so to speak, meaning like if you had a goal that you wanted to achieve, you found the best ways to get there and to do it. But within that, I feel like you fell into kind of like two positions and with a little bit of balance, right? So the high priestess and the hierophant are kind of like pairs in tarot. So you had a really healthy balance, I think, of your spirituality. Um, in this past life, you were really in tune with yourself in that regard, and it wasn't something that you had to hide or keep from people or anything like that. So you're very openly living your life comfortably that way. And on the other side, it seems like maybe you were conforming to the spirituality or religions of that time. So the high priest is the card of tradition. He very much falls into how the natural traditions and rules and laws of that society. So it seemed like you were, excuse me, hold on. Excuse me. It seems like you were ultimately like a pretty good citizen. Seems, I mean, it's a past life reading is a really big reading for only 3 cards. But from what I feel here, it seems very much like you were a really great citizen. You kind of had like a really nice, steady, not go with the flow, steady, like focused life. And it feels very much like you fit in well with society and that you didn't really have any problems in that regard. But you were still very in tune with yourself spiritually. So yeah, it's really cool. I feel like these are really fun aspects that I think you could explore even further if you got like an actual past life reading done. I love the parallels between these two. I'm good, Roa. How are you doing? All right, Andrea. Go ahead, post your question. Thank you for joining. What a lovely day. Don't forget to like this video, guys. It helps with the algorithm, helps people find my channel. Confucius makes sense. I think that's standard for the time, but I fully admit I'm not big into history, so I don't know so much. Alrighty, let's see what your guides have for you. Since it's your birthday, let's pull some extra cards for you. Let's see what the Oracle has for you. Alright, let's see what your guides want you to know. Oh, this was we got this card earlier as our community read. Let's pull one more. Oh, and this is the like namesake or card sake of the front box. Or the box front rather. All right, let's see what the tarot has for you. Next card. major arcana tonight. Oh, all major arcana. All right, so I'm going to scoot this down just a little bit so we can see that. Okay, so you have bees, the bees card here, which is our community card. And then we have smiley face, which is just so cute because her nails are painted with smiley faces. And this is the joy card. I feel like this card is reminding you to find joy, or these cards rather, are reminding you to find joy from your community, from your tribe, the people that you intentionally keep around you, whatever that village looks like. So if you've been struggling, or I wouldn't say struggling with them, but like struggling to connect with them lately, or maybe you've been a little isolated for whatever reason, try to reconnect and find that joy and spark and let them bring that joy back in. Everybody's getting the community card. I like it. I think it's the time of, like, it's getting warm out, right? It's the time of going out and doing stuff with your friends and just re-engaging. It's literally like spring. It's like revitalizing one's life, right? So we have the Lovers, Justice, and the Magician. The second or third time we've gotten Justice, and the second time we got the Magician. So very interesting. But so the Lovers card, this is so if we take that theme of community, this is really like isolating out specifically the part of where you find those strong partnerships. This is where it's also talking about, it could be talking about relationships, where you find those really strong bonds with people. And one of the things about the Lovers is that it has a sense of being at a crossroads. So you have decisions that you need to make. And I think in the theme of this entire reading, I think there are decisions about how you want to navigate your community. How do you want to navigate that in the future? What do you want it to look like? Is it okay how it looks now? How do you want to change it up? What needs to change? Stuff like that. And the Justice card is, I think, how you do that. So this is at the center of your reading. I think it's important because it really identifies that things aren't going to change unless you make them change and unless you put the energy in. So I mentioned in a previous reading that I like to refer to the Justice card as like the cause and effect card. So what are you doing to cause the effects around you? And are you doing the right things to get the right effects? And there are just things to think about. Specifically, are you doing the right things for yourself that bring you joy? Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so horrible. And this economy, it makes it just so stressful. I'm sorry to hear that, Andrea. But I will say, with this Magician card here, I love the Magician in the sense, like, it feels like a very powerful card. The Magician really shows us that, I feel like in this case, your guides are saying, no matter how out of control you might feel, you have the ability to create the life that you're looking for. And it falls back on this, right? Reshaping the way that we're putting energy into the things that we're doing. Especially when we come from those high stressful situations like you described, that sometimes we can unintentionally be like just feeding the stress by mistake. It's unintentional. And so I think that Spirit's just saying like, hey, like let's start to focus on more of the creation side of things versus the things aren't going well side of things. And really saying like, hey, you have everything you need to do that. The Magician is the creator. think of it, we use like the classic example of a magician pulling nothing out of, making nothing and pulling a rabbit out of the hat. So I think that seems like a really joyful message in very trying times, it seems like, based off of what you're saying. In your last message, I feel like it really drives home this whole like need for community to bring you joy. And um and I think that obviously something needs to change, and I'm hoping. So one of the things that I like to say during my readings, I don't like to prescribe things to people. Usually what I hope for is when I'm talking about the cards and talking about what I see in the cards, it sparks something in you that makes sense to you and makes you feel empowered to take on. So I'm hoping that this gave you a little bit of that, even if it's just a tiny, tiny little spark, maybe a smolder. So yeah, I try not to overly prescribe things. Sometimes I'll give examples, but excuse me, I'm so belchy today. But I think in what you're describing, it feels like this crossroads situation that I was describing earlier in Crossroads with your partnerships. And I think that this is where you decide, like, is this joyful to me, or is there room to bring me joy if I switch things around or something like that? Yeah, I will say we have two air cards here. So sort of leaning into that element of air, there is room for communication. Maybe that's something that you need to do, and maybe that is part of the energy that you need to put in. I don't know. I don't, it's hard to tell. It's something when I do like my private readings, usually what I do is try to focus down on or dive down into certain aspects that pop up, because sometimes there's some hidden layers buried underneath. But I'm so sorry, Andrea. This makes for such a stressful birthday. And I think if you take anything away from what your guides are telling you, is that ultimately you have, it might not feel like it at times, but you do have the power to create what it is that you're looking for. You just have to figure out how to tap into it. Thank you, Andrea. That's so meaningful to me. I appreciate it. Alrighty, I'm gonna close the queue, guys. Everybody who's in it is good to go. Just didn't want you guys freaking out. So you're just wondering if there are any obstacles about your future spouse's acceptance? I can see what kind of obstacles there might be. All right. For Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. So this very much seems like the obstacle is that they're not financially stable enough, and therefore it might seem like you're making the wrong decisions because of it. Four of Pentacles can insinuate that there's concern about their relationship with money. Perhaps because if that person is being seen as not having a lot, they might come off cheap to them. I'm not saying that they are going to be. I'm just saying that this is kind of the perception perhaps that others might have of them. I don't know what you mean about making the wrong decision. Are you with someone now? But on the flip side here, we have the Two of Swords. And you can see, oh, okay. So you can see that, twos have this duality of needing to make decisions, but she's blinded, and it might come off as you are being blinded by love and therefore not making the right decisions. I didn't ask if you were making the right or wrong decision. I asked the cards more so in this sense of almost like just what obstacles would pop up, and it seems to be a perception of this person. I would say that maybe the reality is they are a little frugal, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're broke or that you're making the wrong decision about that person. So just to clarify, that I didn't ask if you were making the wrong decision or anything like that. So I can't really glean enough of that. Intuitively, I don't feel one way or another. But yeah, overall, just I do feel like there will be some obstacles, whether they are true or not. I think that ultimately it's a perception thing, and yeah. But I mean, if you're not with someone right now, it's almost like a cross that bridge when you get there kind of thing. It's really not, I don't like to say there's not much you can do about it, but sometimes, unfortunately, you just gotta wait till things happen before you can address them. You're welcome. All right, Noku, go ahead, put your question in the chat. Oh, thank you. Purple's my favorite color, so I love all the purple themes. I might switch it back up to my cozy cat one. That one was really nice too. All right, let's see what is possibly coming towards you in love this month. All right, let's see. First card. Ooh, okay. Looks like this month is going to be really interesting. And so we have the Three of Wands, the Emperor, and then the Ten of Cups. I feel like I'm going to start in the middle with this Emperor card here. So the Emperor strikes me as, it feels very much like a person is coming towards you this month, and he very much gives off really like established vibes, maybe a little older, really has that overly like just fatherly authority kind of vibe, where they're very much confident in what they're doing, very set in their life, and just overall has a good control over how their life is going right now. So, really put together. So on this side, we have the Three of Wands. This is a high energy card. Feels like a lot of things are going to be moving fast. So maybe this person comes into your life a little like surprisingly, haphazardly, just, like suddenly, your bubble's a little bigger and this person is in it. That kind of thing feels very unplanned and unintentional, but in a good way. And then on the other side, we have the Ten of Cups. And the tens are really cool because they are the end of the numerical minors. They're the end of the numbers in the minor arcana, and it really signifies like closing up a chapter. And just this specifically is really feeling like you can put a pin in that. Not put a pin in this. You can close this book up. You finish this chapter, and it was just emotionally fulfilling for you. And overall, this is like one side of, in tarot with the tens, this is like the emotionally fulfilling side of like the family unit kind of card. Sometimes anyways, but in this case, that's very much what I see. So I don't see you like, finding someone getting married in a month or anything. I don't want you to think that, but it feels very much like this person is going to come into your life and it's going to feel like this person could lead to these things, and you could really start to envision how you see yourself, and it looks a lot like that, or how you guys see yourselves together, whatever, but ultimately it looks like this, very happy and joyful, and almost like, you have this like rainbow and all of these cups. It's just very much a very joyful and happy card. So I like the progression that I see here. Oh boy, Aries season. Yeah. Noku, I love that. That's what you deserve. So you put that energy out into the universe, and hopefully the universe gives it to you back. All right, Luke, let's finish her up. What's your question? Oh, yes. Thank you. Come back with an update. I want to know how it goes. Oh, thank you. Thanks for joining, Noku. Have a good weekend. Like the video on your way out. Unless you'd like to hang out to the end and listen to the last reading. That works too. All right, Luke, let's see how your inner child feels misunderstood. Thank you, Noku. Greatly appreciate it. Alrighty, Luke. You have Seven of Swords, Two of Wands, and the Devil. I switched this, but looking at it, it's kind of like a little bit of both. So I'm gonna just leave it upright. So you have some interesting dynamics happening here. I think I'll just start in order and go in. I feel like if you were to take care of Noku, I feel like if you were to, oh, the star of the show is showing up, it means I am overdue. Come here. Wanna go uppies? Yeah. Come here. Let's go uppies. Can you say hi to everybody? No. The star has decided not to make herself known. Say hi. Okay, thank you. All right. So I feel like, if you were to do some reflections with your inner child, I think that maybe your inner child feels betrayed about how you have navigated to yourself as you are today. And in the sense, like, maybe, in your youth, you made promises like, I'm never going to do this, or I'm never going to be like that, or anything like that. And I wonder if, like, subconsciously you feel a little guilty about how things have gone or how you've handled things, or maybe where you're at right now. So it feels a little bit like there is just that level of like, well, maybe I'm letting my inner child down. But with the Two of Wands, so I debated about this being reversed or not, because I feel like there's sort of both things happening, right? So Two of Wands is about planning and looking ahead, right? Making decisions, leaving home. But then in reverse, it's also like the fear of change and playing it safe. So I feel like the inner child is like saying, like, well, we're supposed to go and travel and do this, that, and the other, and instead you haven't done that, or you haven't done that enough, or to the point or degree that I felt like we should have by now. But the reality of the situation is you have to make the right decisions for yourself at the time. And I think that's where some of the misunderstanding could happen. And with the devil card that plays into this, it feels like, yeah, we have to, reconnect and understand our inner child, but at the same time, you can't let that guilt not trap you. You can't be like tethered to that guilt is kind of what I'm looking at there. And sorry. Luna, say hi. Yeah. But yeah, you can't be tethered to that guilt. So there's like, I think almost like, I don't know. I don't really do inner child work, so I don't know necessarily how that could play out. But I think in reconnecting and almost like finding ways to let go of the guilt is really how we can help some of this, relieve some of this in a sort of way. Yeah, that's right, Luna. Yep, listen to your intuitive space cadet. So yeah, Luke, I think there is a little bit of a misunderstanding happening, but I think that it doesn't necessarily mean that the things that you're doing now are against or just, putting down your inner child in a kind of way. I think it's just sometimes we hold on to that guilt, and it can be a sort of unhealthy codependency that we have, or dependency rather. So you kind of have to face that a bit. So I'm glad that makes sense. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up for the night. Luna has spoken. It's time for nighttime pets, right? Yeah. So, yeah, you are working on it, Luke. And I think that's the good thing about it, is that you're not letting it just fester. You're wanting to face it and fix it. Okay, guys. You're very welcome, Luke. Luna and I are going to get off of here. We're going to watch some TV, right? Yeah. And then I will be back next week. And I'll also be here on next Sunday with Priscilla, where we do our monthly Tarot Time podcast, where we talk about witchcraft and tarot and resources and do fun witchy and tarot tags, and just overall have some really fun discussions. So thank you guys for chilling and hanging out with me tonight. I'm so sorry I missed you guys last week, and this more than makes up for it. So thank you guys for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.